everyone. Welcome back to the main line. It's me, Deidre. I'm going to be your host today, and we have a great guest for you all today. So we have Tiyahnn Bryant with us from Roll Up Life Inc. Let me just give you a little background about Roll Up Life Inc. They are a premier provider and transporter of high quality cannabis and cannabis related products. Basically, when you need them, they'll roll up. So they're established to roll with the cannabis industry as it continues to bloom. The Roll Up Life platform will connect the entire cannabis industry from seed to sale. So I would love to introduce our guest today. Woo! Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
Today is good. Today is good. Just have to continue working. It's been a long day. But it's exciting to be here. I had this on my calendar for a little while now, so it's finally feels good to finally do it. So I'm
Yes,
feeling
thank you
right.
for joining us. I really appreciate you making some time in your busy schedule to talk to us at Marion, Maine. So tell me a little bit about you and how you got started in the cannabis industry.
Oh yeah, no problem. So it was about 2016, my senior year of college. I went to Boise State University, which is in Idaho. California, Washington, and Oregon, which are the bordering states to Idaho, were entering like the green market, so the fully recreational market. And at the time, Jersey had just went medical. So just paying attention to the trends, you know that medical is always a prerequisite for recreational. And just seeing how the industry was working in the Western states, trying to figure out what the best thing I can do to get involved here in Jersey was a bit of a task. So when I'm shopping in these dispensaries, I don't even realize that I'm un 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 what's the word? I'm unconsciously inventing roll up life because I'm sitting in line like, man, this sucks. Like, just and then you also think about it like, well, I wonder how the products are getting from the grower to the dispensary. So I just started thinking about a lot of logistical challenges. Then once I got to Jersey, you realize like, wait, we got 50,000 medical marijuana patients and only 6 dispensaries. How is that supposed to work? Yeah, right. It sounds crazy.
Wow.
It sounds crazy. Like, how is that supposed to work? So
Mm-mm.
then I take a deep dive into New Jersey cannabis industry. I joined New Jersey Cannabis Insiders. I joined Minority for Medical Marijuana, where I first met Hope. Like it's almost like a movie scene how I met Hope. So uh, through those two avenues, I started to get more and more knowledge of what the cannabis industry took, which each avenue took on the landscape of from cultivation all the way down to door-to-door delivery, what it would take to if I wanted this company to be a cultivator or a manufacturer or a retailer, what would I have to do? And then from there, just figuring all of that out, I found that the logistics lane was just perfect for me, what I'm good at personally. And then just from a need-based standpoint, you're gonna always meet a bunch of people who wants to have their own cultivation brand or have their own retail store, but not too many people are on the logistics avenue. So it was just something I felt as though the cannabis industry needed and I would be good at.
I love that. So, Roll Up Life, are you only in New Jersey right now?
Currently, yes, for the delivery aspects of it, while we may ship around, we may ship around. We're only located in New Jersey right now.
Are there any plans to like hopefully expand in the future, maybe to Maryland?
Yes, absolutely. Especially with Hope being on our advisory board. So just trying to figure out the logistics around that. And you want to, before you even start biting off other areas, you want to make sure that you got the hometown locked down. So we want to make sure everything that we got going on in Jersey is foundationally sound, structurally sound. Because how can we take something on the road that isn't, the base isn't good. So want everything to be situated here. Then Maryland, New York, Connecticut are the next states that we're eyeing on after this.
So, what type of products could you get, using your Roll Up Life? CBD products,
Yes,
THC products?
definitely. Right now we're just strictly CBD
Mhm.
and accessories, so your grinders, your bongs, stuff like that. But just strictly items that are federally and state legal. Once our recreational application gets approved, then we'll start upgrading into the things that we have for the THC portion. But as of right now, can't get too ahead of yourself.
Was it a long licensing process to try to apply for these things?
Uh, man, if I can, it's still a process. The process is still going. So I want you to understand. Like we didn't even get to wholly submit that the recreation the guidelines for what recreational cannabis delivery is still being constructed. So it's just a whole long process that one has been waiting for in Jersey. We just had people who applied in 2019 get their licenses last week. So it's definitely a little progress here. A
Are you
little
talking
progress.
about like their licenses for like their medical card, or are you talking about like their for like grow or processing?
For businesses. We just had people who applied in the 2019 class get licensed.
Wow, that's a long time. So you're
So
talking about like 3 years later, and you're finally getting approved or denied, you know what I'm saying? And
right,
there's all that time and money you put into it.
so many people lost a lot of money in the last medical round. It was ridiculous. But that's just to give you a little update. Our CCC is now fully formed, so we can definitely expect things to move a little bit better. But outside of that, just trying to just stay patient is the big thing for us because you know how long you want to be waiting on this process.
So for people who might not know what seed to sale is, could you kind of like give a little explanation to what that is?
Sure. So seed to sell essentially starts at the genetics. A lot of people think the seed to sell starts at the cultivator, but some people operate as only genetic forms, and some people opt as cultivators as well. So um, you start at the genetics, right? Finding and sourcing the best genetics, the best licensed genetics that you can for your clients is definitely the beginning of the seed to sell portion. Once you match the proper genetics with the proper cultivator, you technically get to the seed portion, right? Where you're actually getting the seeds or the stems, the clones, and however, whatever you're going to be growing the flower out of the base. So once you get that process going, you take the genetics from point A to point B or the seeds from point A to point B. You allow the cultivator to make them whatever they're going to make them in terms of flower, or you from that point you might either be taking that to a manufacturer to get packaged, branded, and sold as is, or you're taking that to a manufacturer to make it edible products now, make it oils and tinctures or whatever, be that process. So once you transfer it from seed to the manufacturing industry of it, then you take it from there to the retail points. This is literally how the supply chain works for cannabis. Kind of like every other thing, but once you take it to the retail points or the or whatever points they're going to be sold out of, you take them there. And then fortunately for us, we cover the last mile as well. So from the retail point, if the consumer isn't actually going to the store to buy it, they're using your app or your website to complete their purchases, then you finish the to sell part of the seed to sell and make sure the product ensures that the customer's doorstep. So that's a really long-winded breakdown of what seed to sell is.
I love it though, because I think a lot of our patients kind of forget that, this is a plant and it has to grow and it has to go through all these different changes before it can, come into this container where we can buy it. And I think if they can understand that process, that they'll start to understand, how to better, buy products or prepare for those things when, you might not find a strain for a long time because they're just not growing it. And it all depends really on the production aspect of everything. So, okay. Are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. It just looked like it got frozen for like 5 seconds.
It actually did because it skipped. Like I was like, oh wait. I was looking like, all right, but now we're good.
We're good. So perfect. So tell me more about roll up life. Like, what's the day to day for you?
Okay, so currently right now, since we're just in this heavily involved application process, we're doing a lot of community work and development. And again, we're still developing ourselves as young entrepreneurs and business owners. Our day to days really, really, really vary. So the platform handles a lot of that. So our brick and mortar location, like we don't have the distribution facility right now. We're about to go back into an office space because of what the recreational licensing looks like for a cannabis delivery company. You can't do both logistics, distribution logistics, and door to door delivery. So that kind of like put a real damper in how we were operating as a business. So it made us change the game plan up a lot. It kind of cut our startup budget in half, or a little bit more than half, because of how cash intensive distribution can possibly be. But it gave us the ability to take a real step back and continue to strengthen up in the areas such as community investment, getting the mayor in our city involved in what's going on, because they're still fairly new to how this process is looking. They still really don't understand it thoroughly. Um, there's redoing these business plans for investors. That's really what my last 2 months has been like, just making sure the investors are happy investor, happy business. Precious's day to day really concerns with the media portion of what we're doing, just making sure the questions and our image is up to date. I'm on sales, making sure our app is where it's supposed to be right now. Um, but it's like it's hard to say we have like a specific day to day, at least, because it just changes up so much because we're still so new. But
Mhm.
each day I can say like it's just making sure, I'll say heavily with investments or investors, are doing something that the investor has asked me to do, something like that.
Perfect. I had another question. What was it? Oh, okay. So, advice for someone who's brand new in the industry or trying to get in the industry. People ask me all the time, like, how do I get into the industry? And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Because it kind of depends on the path that you want to take. So, you took a very unique path. So, what would be your advice for someone that was interested in something like this?
Honestly, what I tell somebody that's really trying to get into the cannabis industry, the first thing what I do tell people is, what are you good at? Because a lot of people try to come in and adjust themselves to the cannabis industry. But if you adjust the cannabis industry to you, you'll probably excel because you're doing something that you're already good at. You're just incorporating cannabis with it. So, if you know you're not a salesman, why are you trying to open up a retail store, right? Like, that's something that you're not good at. While it may be something lucrative and it sounds really good on paper, it doesn't mean yours will be really good, because that's not what you do. You're good at marketing and branding. So why don't you try to develop your own consulting company, your own marketing brand, right? You're specifically a cultivator, right? That's what you try to do, right? You love growing flowers. Stick to that, right? Don't try to, and it's cool if you have aspirations to grow your brand, but make sure you have the right people in place too for that, like as you're trying to grow. So definitely the first thing I'll say to get in the industry is make sure you're trying to do in cannabis what you're already good at, right? So that'll save you a lot of time. It saved me a bunch of time. It saved you a lot of time. And then from there, once you were figuring out, all right, well, I can do this in cannabis industry, get updated on that, right? Take a deep dive and learn whatever that takes, right? You have to learn. You can't do anything in the cannabis industry with the lack of knowledge, especially with understanding how people talk in the circles these days. There's this you there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it froze a little bit. But there's a lingo people talk in cannabis, and it's either you know it or you don't, right? Honestly, truly. So if you're sitting here saying you want to be a cultivator, and somebody's asking you your favorite cultivars instead of strands, and you don't know what that means, then how serious are you, right? So it's all about getting that deep dive into the education once you're there, and then once you're getting educated, people really think that education and networking is like kind of two different things, but I think they work hand in hand, because um, right now with you, right, we're networking, we're talking, we're learning, but we're teaching each other things back and forth. You're telling me how this interview is going, I'm telling you about my company, and we're networking with that. So education and networking to me goes hand in hand because let's just say I met a lawyer. I need to know what this means. He's going to teach me through our connections, right? So your networking and your education is definitely equally as important. And then the last thing I would definitely tell somebody is honestly, truly, before you even waste your time, how serious are you? Because this is a this is going to be challenging, very challenging. So how serious are you? Are you really going to take this serious? Because if not, then there's no point in us even talking, right? Like, what are we talking about? Because this is going to challenge you. You're going to be up some nights very long. Um, that's just the way it is.
That's the life of an entrepreneur, right?
Yep.
You got the grind literally never stops. That's really, really great advice. I literally try to tell people who are interested, like, just kind of go out there, explore. Like especially in Maryland, the industry is very still new, in my opinion. Like there's dispensaries haven't really been around that long, and just go out there, or go to a grow, apply yourself. There's so many different jobs out there within the industry that you really wouldn't expect it unless you really do the research. So, okay, back to Roll Up Life Inc. So, delivery. You guys have an app? I think you mentioned that
Yeah, it's in development. That's going to be fully Apple just like allowed for you to upload cannabis apps. So,
because they definitely banned it for a while.
right.
Like I
So
know Puffco, you couldn't have the app for that. Like, okay.
that's definitely in development. Can I share my screen a little bit? I'll show you guys a little bit of it. Let me see before I share my screen. Let me get that.
Look, we're gonna get the inside tea, everyone.
I'll show this one little picture for everybody. Uh, where am I? Where am I?
I love it. Literally, so many of our patients are like, "We need delivery. We need delivery." So you guys make sure when you come down to Maryland, we got people that are waiting. So
Seriously. All
literally,
right. All right. So let me share my screen. Don't show these tips again. Share screen. See all this. I'm always working, man. But here's a nice little sneak preview of what our home screen on the app is going to be like to the Roll Up Life app. Um, it's definitely branded towards our dispensary partners. They get the chance to they get the chance to did it share?
no, not yet. Try it again.
I'm sitting here pressing that whole time like
I still see you. Oh, here we go.
all
We're
right,
here.
here's a,
All right.
here's a sneak peek of what our app is going to look like. I'll even give you some more screenshots of it.
$13. Okay, but keep going.
Yeah, I'll even give you a screenshot of it. There's a lot going on. I'm always working here, excuse me. Where's our download? All right.
Oh, that's cute.
So here's our home screen, what people will see when they're just getting logged on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is what a dispensary's individual store will look like. So as you see right here, this is the Apothecarium. They're one of the closer dispensaries to us here in Jersey. And you get to browse their home screen, to browse the staff's favorite picks. There's a couple different search options here that we're privy to very uniquely. Here's like an individual product screen. The one thing that we're priding ourselves on is selling fire. So unlike most stars where you're believing there'll be like 4 stars or 5 stars, this is the cannabis industry. We all want to know, well, is it fire? So
Or not.
you'll see you'll see that down there, something to connect to the people right there. Um, here's what it will look like to shop from the dispensaries in your latest area. You just scroll. Here we see the three dispensaries that are close to us here in North Jersey. So The Apothecarium is actually in Maplewood, New Jersey. Ascend is actually in Montclair, New Jersey. And Best Buzz Dispensary is in Lake Hawaii. That's our CBD partner. They're looking to open their THC portion down South Jersey. And like I said, I already showed you guys the home screen, what that will look like. So that's a little sneak peek of the Roll Up Life tech. We haven't really showed anybody that.
That was really really awesome. Like I love that. It's like weed maps but delivery, you know what I'm saying? So I like that, and I love that each store you can go in, you have the staff picks, and I like that you can have like the description and everything. So are you gonna people are gonna be able to write their own reviews in there?
People are going to be able to do so much with the
Mhm.
Roll Up Life app. Like you would probably think I'm lying with some of the features that the Roll Up Life app is going to do. Um,
I'm
it's
kind of jealous I'm not in New Jersey now. Like I might need to go up there and visit just so I can check it out.
it's definitely it's definitely something to look forward to. Roll Up Life is a lifestyle brand. Like it's not just roll up. Roll up is the delivery portion of it, absolutely. But life is what we try to provide. We try to show who we are and what type of people we come to be and how that we can express that through our brand. So it's life, it's not just there to be a word filler. You got to show people what that actually means for your company. Where's the lifestyle portion of the roll up life coming from? So
Mhm.
we pride ourselves on that.
You guys do community service and things like that?
Yes, we have an event coming up actually on the 28th of this month called Cannabis and Community, where we're bringing out the mayor, some local cannabis industry companies, some local players in the industry, and we will have them coming in to mingle with the people in the community. There's a lot of people who don't know a lot about the cannabis industry around here. It's it's new, it's exciting, and just trying to make sure not just our city and the people that are in our city, but like even the municipalities, they need to come talk to some of the lawyers that we've having in there. They need to come talk to some of the already operating dispensaries so they can see what to expect. So it's not just even just for our personal benefit, our roll up life, but it's also for the municipalities' benefit as well as the community people involved in it. So just trying to make sure we stay locked in on that.
Got to educate the community so we can help break that stigma that's surrounding cannabis. You know what I'm saying? I think like our generation and the next, we are really working towards that. Like, hey, this is our lifestyle now, especially with the pandemic. I think a lot more people are becoming more accepting of the lifestyle and things like that. So I really appreciate that you guys are like, that's really an integrated part of your brand.
Thank you.
Um, what about social equity as it relates to roll up life?
So of course, being a minority company, especially being a black founded company by myself, social equity is always at the forefront to us. I've always told my staff that we want to pride ourselves on being one of the better companies in cannabis, not just one of the better black companies. So we got to be able to really compete with everybody. We'd want to be able to win a license, whether it was due to social equity ramifications or not. But in terms of what social equity means to us and what it means to me, first and foremost, I got my degree in political science. I wanted to be a lawyer just because of the injustices that were going on involved in the world today. Um, and people think that social equity is just going to start with helping people get licenses and stuff like that. But that's not the case, right? People need to learn how to operate a business too, right? That's a part of being social equity and a socially equitable company, a socially conscious company. So to this day, we already raised up $100,000 for 5 different social equity brands to get their shine on here in the state of New Jersey. Yeah, so you can't just and I did that while I was in the middle of my own capital raise. So just being about more about everybody than yourself, and then you'll see how much your brand actually benefits from that. So not only do these people just need the money, they need the know-how. They need the connections with the people that can fill their staffs out too. You'll be surprised at how many people are one man operations. So social equity doesn't just mean here's a license, because how many of those people are gonna go under, right? Some licenses, receiving a license might be the best things for one company. It might be one of the worst things for another because they're not prepared. And it's like you receive this huge blessing and then you have nothing to back it up with. So getting them educated is something that's really, really important for me on the social equity standpoint. Making sure that once these businesses are open, they can sustain is something that's huge for me.
I agree. There's nothing worse than, seeing, even in Maryland, we saw so many businesses like be bought by, other people, or, dispensaries kind of conglomerating other dispensaries. And it's kind of scary because to me, it's like, I don't want to live in a world where it's like one company just kind of controls a third of the whole market. You know what I'm saying? Because then it just becomes so saturated. And I want to see more of us in it. I want to see more women. I want to see more people of color. I want to see people, disabilities, like all kinds of people in this industry. And I really hope that the future is bright for that, because it needs it, especially, in areas like where we are, where we're just so saturated and we're so blessed to have, predominantly Black people. Like, it's not everywhere in the world where you can go like that. So I really want my people to be able to take parts in these, endeavors. And yeah, so, sorry, I got a little passionate about that. But social
I,
equity to me, we're Mary and May, and you're like, we take it
I
seriously.
always, all like I said, hope is so instrumental to my path. I can already tell that the type of people she'll have around her and her brand will be full of the passions and the thing that she's passionate about. So I can tell that that was, I could tell that
That's what we do
you.
at Maria. I mean, we're a family. Like, all of the patients that come in there, you know, I know them by name, they know me, and it's just like, if I haven't seen you in a while, I'm really, genuinely concerned. So all that, Hope has been a blessing at creating that atmosphere and creating that environment for all of us. So hopefully at Roll Up Life it's like that too. But I have no qualms. I feel like you're a great boss. They probably love you.
I mean, I'm trying my best to be realistic, So
Mhm.
it's all about creating an environment that you want to work at too. So I know we got a job to get done, but who says we can't have fun while we do it?
Mhm. So does Roll Up Life have like any merch or plans for merch? I'm a merch person, so
Yeah, yeah. I've actually been talking to the merch guy today. That's something that we got to do coming down the line. It's just been so much focusing on the technical things that you
Mhm.
really don't really think about the things that'll actually help you in the long run. Because merch is a money grabber, honestly. And is a marketing ploy as well. So, just trying to be able to take the day by day is so hard. We got a couple hoodies. I don't have one right near me. I wish I would have had one on personally, but we got a couple of hoodies that are out right now. But our merch game is going to get a little stronger. It's just so hard to find our colors. The bright green R that we use and that forest green that we
Mhm.
use. It's
I
so hard
agree.
to
And make
matching.
sure you put a pin in that, because we love that. We love a hat. We love a t-shirt in the industry. So I'm
See, I
gonna put my
see,
Roll Up Life shirt, and they're gonna be like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "You don't know? You
I
don't
see, I see.
know?" We're like, so
I
make
definitely
sure y'all
see.
do that.
I definitely see. I'll make sure I send you guys a kit. I got to.
Yes. So let me see. Do we have any questions? Yes, open it up for questions and answers, please. Okay. Trayvon Dorsey, peace fam. Hey, Trayvon. Thanks for having this interview. Are you applying for other state transportation licenses? What's the process in purchasing cannabis transportation vehicles? Oh, he got
Um,
very specific.
well, in Jersey, yeah, I kind of tried to answer this question already when I said they split the transportation licenses into two different categories or three, rather wholesale distribution and delivery, and you can't hold either one of those simultaneously. So you're gonna have to pick one and stay in that lane. And it's probably the same process as purchasing your own car. You got to find a dealer if you're trying to get a fleet. Um, and then it's all about finding what type of specific vehicle that works for you. How do you want your company to look? What is your brand behind? What do you need out of your vehicles? They got to be refrigerated. I don't know if you knew that or not. I'll give you that tidbit. But then, how you gonna hook that vehicle up for security, for safety, and to store everything that you're supposed to have in the back of it, on top of adding a lockbox in there too for cash is a lot, but it's really not that hard. It's just thinking about. the way of making it work for you and what you're actually trying to get out of your transportation vehicle. There is no one size fits all transportation vehicle.
That's so interesting that you say that because I'm not going to say it, but there's another dispensary that does delivery and they do it in a Tesla. And I'm like, so is it refrigerated or what? I'm gonna have to find out because now that you say that, I'm kind of wondering how
Right,
they do that.
right.
But thanks, Trayvon, for that great question. Oh, here we got another one from him. How beneficial would you say entering the cannabis industry is, specifically for Black Americans?
Entering any industry specifically for Black Americans is great because there aren't enough Black Americans in any industry, and cannabis is around 4%. We only make up 13% of the population, but we make up what is it, like 85% of the prison population. So I think it's extremely important for Black Americans to get into any industry. I'm not even just gonna call out cannabis on this one, because there aren't anybody anywhere that really has your best interest at the end of the day. There are very few solely Black run entities out here. There's always, even if for let's take Black Lives Matter last summer as a white company, right? So like let's really start thinking about all industries, and Black Americans need to get involved in all industries, not just cannabis.
Perfect. That was so great. Thank you, Trayvon, for that wonderful question. Oh, sorry, my friend's calling me. I have to hang up on him. So sorry. So, real quick, can you put up where we can follow you? All of this stuff. Which social media are you most active on?
Twitter.
Twitter.
Me
Okay,
too.
me too. Me
I
too.
love
I love the
Twitter,
Twitter.
but all of my social media is just Tiyahnn. Like you, if it's at Tiyahnn, that's me.
Okay. Okay. So everything else is for the brand, but
Yep.
at Tiyahnn, that is your personal. So if we need to hit you up with, question, comments, or concerns, you know what I'm saying? They can hit you up there. That's so great. But no, Twitter is the best. So I might have to follow you on there so we could tweet about all the cannabis things because
No
that's
problem.
that's the thing.
Definitely make that happen. Let's definitely make
Excellent.
that happen.
So, all right. I think that's going to wrap it up for the day. Do you have any questions about Marion Maine or you already know you talked to Hope. She's on your board. So, have you
She's
ever
on.
visited the shop before?
Oh, and she's probably been a little upset at me for that because I need to get down there to Maryland, especially in Capitol Heights. My grandmother moved from Capitol Heights to Charlotte, so I haven't been in the
Okay.
area as frequent as I used to.
Okay. All right. So, I'll give you until probably this time next year. I'll give you a
Okay,
year. Okay. So, remember, pink shirt time again. If you don't make it to Marion Maine, me and Hope, we'll have to have a conversation about it. And
I,
we'll talk about it. But no, you definitely gotta come see us. We're a family down there. We'll welcome you with open arms and everything like
all right,
that.
that's no problem.
So once again, shout out Roll Up Life so everyone can follow the socials. Please and thank you.
Oh yeah, so it's Roll Up Life at roll up dot life for Instagram and at roll up life underscore for Twitter. Gotta
Perfect.
remember that. I need to find a way to make
Everyone
them the
stay
same.
tuned for the app. Any like TBA, like maybe beginning
Expect
next year.
February 2022. We're expecting to have the app rolled out.
2022 heard you beginning of the year. So I'm so excited for that. I definitely will be looking. I don't live in New Jersey, but I'll have the app just in case I come visit.
Okay,
So
I definitely appreciate it. What part of Maryland do you live in?
I actually live like 5 minutes away from Marion, Maine. So like
Capitol
when I
Heights.
leave there from work, I get home in like three and a half minutes. So there's no excuse for you to not come. We're
Wow,
down the street. So
you really live in Capitol Heights.
technically it's Largo,
I go. I
but
I lived on Canyon Drive in between Peppermill and I forgot the other side street, but I
that
know
sounds so familiar. So
Peppermill Drive It's like the right street.
It sounds so familiar. I'm literally right across from PGCC. Like I could walk there.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, I'm Marion Main's like, I'm there. And then we're done. So I love it. It makes my life easy. So
What do you
whenever
do
they,
at the store?
what do you say?
What do you do at the store?
I am an experienced agent. I've actually been there for like 2.5 years now. I love it there. That's my home dispensary. I've been going there since it's open. My friend actually helped me get a job there. He was leaving, and I was like, "Help me, get me in there." So I work there part time. But it's literally been one of the best experiences for me. Just, I always used to tell my friends, I want a job in the cannabis industry. I'm going to manifest it for myself for years and years. And I finally actually am here. I'm wearing the stuff, I got the merch, I'm doing the things. So for me, it's just like a dream come true. And I know it's only the beginning. So I love it.
Yeah, it's definitely the beginning, especially with a leader like Hope. You guys are going to be going places.
Yeah, she's so amazing. I just be looking at her like, oh, wow. Oh, I need to do so much more with my life. And she's so gorgeous. It's just like, oh, so she's probably gonna watch this later and be like, "Oh, Deaudra, why?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, Hope, but it's just the truth." So
Right.
everyone knows when we have our events, they're like, "Oh my God, is that her?" And I'm like, "Yep, that's her, everyone." So shout out to Hope Wiseman. She's the greatest.
Yeah, shout
So,
out to
so
Hope.
dope. So yes, thank you so much for joining me. I am really, really hot right now. I got this light in front of me, so I'm low-key sweating. So I'm gonna get up off of this show. We're gonna end it here. But thank you so much. And make sure you come visit Mary Main and ask for me. I'll be
Yep,
there, okay? Make
no
sure it's
problem.
on like a day when I'm there though. Don't be popping up randomly,
Your
Follow me
schedule.
on Twitter.
Make your schedule. I'll make your schedule. I gotta.
Listen, just follow me on Twitter, and then if you go, just tweet me, and I'm gonna be like, I'm there, so that we can, have a conversation. I can get my merch because hopefully by then you'll have some roll up merch.
All right, bet I got you.
Awesome. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Tiyahnn. This is Deaudra. Thank you so much for. You see the TV over here. Let me move this over. Oh, wrong way. Thank you for the visiting us today at the main line. I'm sorry, y'all. This light's making me really, really hot. But I'll see you guys next time. And it's been a great time. Thank you so much. Bye.